Good evening and welcome to Richmond International Speedway. Tonight we're running the Sprint Cup cars in the PowerTech 100. That's 100 laps here at Richmond. In the booth with me tonight we have Rick Lawdog Donathan, and down on pit road tonight we have back with us Brian Likens. Good evening, guys.
Hey, Wayne, Brian, guys, it's good to be here this evening. Going to have an excellent race, 78 degrees here at Richmond International Speedway. Got a lot of competitors out there on the track. Got some good qualifying times, some real close qualifying times. Brian, I can't wait till the green drops.
It's going to be an interesting race tonight. We got everybody packed in so tight you can't really hardly tell who qualified on top, just the names in the list. But it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun racing here at Richmond tonight.
Absolutely, and I tell you what, real quick, let's go down the qualifying. On the pole this evening, the number 3 of Randy Hedrick coming in with a 20.250. Man, he's flying around there. On the outside, the number 60, Brian Neff. Third, the number 42, Chad Simpson. That's right, he's back. And fourth spot, number 4, and he's back as well, Kevin Graham. And rounding out that fifth place, number 86, William Roberts. Wayne?
Yeah, and starting in sixth place tonight is Brad Spadell with a 20.456. In seventh place, Chad Osborne. Starting inside row 4 is Matt Hoos. Outside in ninth is Mitch Lehman. And starting 10th is Corey Stockhart.
Starting 11th, number 1, the returning champion, Philip Willis. Starting 12th, number 77, Malik Kuntz. Starting 13th, number 90, Chris Krigatis. Starting 14th, number 51, Brian Lambert. Starting 15th, number 12, Jade Williams.
Starting 16th on the grid tonight is Brian Terry. In 17th, James Gagne. 18th, usually qualifies David Washington, usually up front. He's starting 18th tonight. In 19th, Ronald Henry. And 20th, James Ross.
Starting 21st, number 62, Michael D'Amico. 22nd belongs to the number 44, Marcus Miller. Starting 23rd, the 06, Steve Hansen. Starting 24th, the 03 of Rudy Cummins. Starting 25th, the number 7, Rick Moore.
And in 26th tonight, Eric Della Riva. In 27th is Ed Hewitt. 28th is Emerson Brakatsvich. 29th, Rodney Kramer. 30th, Matt Hoffman. Rounding out our field at 31st is Michael Norris.
I'll tell you what, this evening, look for those guys. I'm going to say Kevin Graham is strong, but I'm going to tell you what, Chad Simpson has finally got everything put together, and here he is showing third up on the board, starting third this evening. Tell you what, he's going to be a handful there, Wayne.
In practice, everybody was having trouble getting off the corners. Here on the turns, they have 14 degrees. On the backstretch exiting 2, there's an 8-degree banking on the backstretch, but only 2 degrees on the front stretch. So we had a lot of action in practice, cars getting loose coming off turn 2, Rick.
Well, I'll tell you what, I really appreciate that technical information there, Wayne. I don't know what we would do without you, but how are we looking down there on pit road there, Brian?
Well, Law Dog, I just got done speaking to the crew chief of the number 3 car, Randy Hedrick, and he said he's really looking forward to this race tonight. They weren't quite sure how they were going to qualify. They were pretty sure they were going to get in the top 10, but they weren't sure they were going to take the pole. Being on the pole, they're really excited. They just want to keep this lead throughout the race and use their pit strategy wisely and see if they can come out with a win.
Fantastic pit. Cars out off the track, and Randy Hedrick out front. Getting ready to go into turn 1, guys. Here we go.
He caught him napping, Rick. As soon as that pace car was off, he was in the gas and away, and he has pulled him by about 20 car lengths on the first lap here.
That's right. I tell you what, Randy's a real smart driver, real good driver, and I tell you, he is here today to win. I can tell by the way he's driving that machine already. It looks like pace car is out, got a caution out on the track.
92. Looks like the 92 spun, Rick. He's at the entrance to pit road with a good bit of damage to the car. Brian Terry.
Man, Brian, you got any more on that now? 92.
Well, we see the 92 limping down pit road. It looks pretty trashed. That spin was pretty nasty. It looks like he just got loose coming out of the corner. I'm not sure if he caused any damage to anybody else, but right now they're just mumbling about getting him back out. They don't know how many laps they're going to go down.
Oh, I tell you. Oh, it looks like, looks like Brian Lambert. No, I don't know if that's Brian Lambert. Jade Williams. Now we got several cars got involved there. Taking a look over here to replay as they're coming out of the corner there. Yeah, it looks like the 77 just kind of lost it there, fishtailed it, spun it around, hit the inside wall, and doggone, Jade Williams is there again. That man has had a lot of bad luck this season. Every time there's a race, he always ends up right in the middle of it. But, Wayne, I was talking to him the other day about it. Man's got a real good attitude about it. Says, hey, it's just having a bad year so far. Bad, wrong time and place every time I get on the track. But he told me that things are looking good, and they're going to try to, at some point in time, get some things straightened out.
Well, like I said, in practice, there were quite a few spins, a lot of people getting in the wall, and Brian, the pit crews are going to earn their money tonight.
Yes, sir, Wayne, they are. The 92 just wrecked again coming off pit road. They didn't quite get the steering back under control, and I think they're going to have to put that one behind the wall.
Well, Rick, it's going to be exciting, folks.
It's going to be exciting. We've got a good group of guys here tonight, and I'm going to tell you, the competition level is just extreme here tonight. It's some of these top guys, Mitch Lennon, Matt Hoos, Randy Hedrick, Kevin Graham, Chad Simpson. The list keeps going on and on. I tell you, this Cup Series at NoBullMotorsport.com is just growing with competition, good drivers, good attitude, just a friendly atmosphere over here at TeamSpeak. And want to holler over here at some of our guys at our NoBull TV with, it looks like Dylan Lambert in the house. I know that's Brian Lambert's son there, and of course he's rooting for his dad. Thanks for joining us here this evening. Troy, we appreciate you showing up. Now, Wayne, that's your fan club right there. Troy is your fan club.
That's right, Troy. Thank you for watching tonight. Going to have a great race. Rick, the 75, has heavy damage. Ronald Henry's out on the track, and he has heavy damage to the front and rear of that car.
And I tell you, tough break for him. Looking up here at the front, Chad Simpson's going to be starting on that outside beside Randy Hedrick. The lights are off on the pace cars. They're going into turn 4 here. Now, it's going to be interesting to see if Randy can get the jump again. Now, Chad is pretty good on restarts, but he's got Kevin Graham there in his mirror. Pace car off the track. Green flag coming out. Here we go, Wayne.
And just like the first start, he jumps out to a lead, and the 42's on the outside, the 4's on the inside, coming down there side by side, going down the backstretch.
Absolutely. Kevin Graham looking on the inside of Chad Simpson as he go into turn 4, side by side, all the way around the corner to the front stretch, still side by side.
Across the start-finish line, almost touch as they dive down into one. Kevin's got that car to where it'll run on the bottom. In practice, he was one of the few that could hold it down there in the turns.
Absolutely, and I tell you, tough competition up here front. Just heard, I believe we got another wreck. Looks like I saw the one car. Philip Willis just got into a wreck. Oh, man, yeah, I've got my replay up here, Wayne. It looks like Philip came out of turn 2 there. The 28 car, that's going to be, I believe, Corey Stockard. Looks like he got a little loose coming out of the corner there. Bounced it off the wall. Philip was there, tried to hit the brake, but just too late, fell right into it. Man, that's another one that's had a lot of bad luck.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of sheet metal for sale next week at the shops, Rick.
Oh, yeah, a lot of sheet metal to be fixed. And I'll tell you what, let's take it down here to Brown Road. What's these guys saying now?
Well, nobody down here on pit road's happy right now. Everybody seems to be in a bad mood. I can understand why, Every lap we've got a new wreck. We've got a couple coming down pit road now. One looks to have a little bit of engine damage. The other one doesn't look so bad. I'm going to see if I can get in with the crew chief and get back to you.
Fantastic. I'll tell you what, while Brian's trying to get with the pit crew chief down there, taking a look over here at NoBull TV, I see a gentleman by the name of Eddie. Now, that's something I hadn't seen on the track here today, Wayne. Eddie Smith won the race. I believe that's going to be back over at, doggone it, I want to say it was Pocono. No, not Pocono. I believe it may have been Kentucky. And I'm wondering why in the world is he over here and not in the race?
Yeah, when I saw the entrance tonight, I was kind of confused. His name wasn't there, so I don't know if he had car trouble or what happened, Rick. But we're certainly going to miss him tonight.
Absolutely, yeah, that's another really tough competitor, Eddie Smith. And man, I just hate that we didn't see him here tonight. Gosh, we got a lot of competition for him here tonight.
Yeah, it'd be very nice to have him here. Once again, the PowerTech 100 is brought to you by PowerTech Power Solutions. Virtual circuits or full house, commercial, marine, residential, mobile, alternative energy systems. You can call them at 914-447-5637.
Absolutely. Big thank you out there to James Ross, the owner of PowerTech Power Solutions. Big sponsor there.
Well, the pit crew guys are certainly bringing out the sawzalls and the hammers tonight because we've had just a few laps of racing and we've already had 2 cautions.
And I tell you, right now it's just these guys are just biting at the bit. They know that they can't waste a lot of time lingering around. They've got to get up front, lead some laps, get some of those bonus points, get them up on the board because every point counts. I think we're in the starts, I believe, our 6th race out of a 10-week race, and right now we got our eyes on the PowerTech Power Solution car right there. You can see it, driven by James Ross. Sharp-looking machine he's got there.
And Ronald Henry in the 75 just got the PowerTech lucky dog and was waved around the pace car.
Well, I tell you what, Wayne, we're probably going to see a few cautions. The competitors that we've got out here on the track, about that 3 car, it just looks good on the track, Wayne.
Yeah, it does. That good wrench brings back a lot of memories of Dale Sr. in that 3 car.
Absolutely. But I tell you something else that looks really good out there on that track is that 76 Brad Spadell. Tell you, every time you see him out on the track, he's always running up there in that top 5. He's just so consistent here lately and doing a really good job on driving.
Lights are out on the pace car. I believe he's going to pull off this time. And look who's on the outside. Mr. Kevin's out there in that big 4.
Kevin Graham on the outside. Wow, Randy Hendrick with a heck of a doggone start there. Just pulled away. I think he caught everybody sleeping that time. Chad Simpson underneath Philip Willis, not Philip Willis, but Kevin Graham.
And Kevin got in the outside wall a little bit on the entry there in the 4.
Oh, boy, he got that thing close to the wall there coming out of turn 4. Looking good. Chad Simpson's going to move right up there in the 2nd place position. Kevin, he's been out for a couple races, so these guys have practiced quite a bit. Looks like I believe that's going to be the 86 of William Roberts, looking really good out there right now, too. Giving Kevin Graham a good run for his money as they get ready to go into turn 1.
Yeah, Chad Simpson is right on Randy's bumper a couple times. I think he might have given him a little love tap, but he's keeping up with him on the 2nd restart here. We're on lap 15 of the PowerTech 100 at Richmond.
Fantastic, and it looks like Eddie is back over here at NoBullMotorsport TV. Now, I'm just wondering, is this Eddie Smith? If this is Eddie Smith, type your name in there. I want to see if this is Eddie Smith over here watching NoBull TV. Wrong Eddie. Okay, thank you, Dylan. Just want to make sure there. We're just kind of trying to see what in the world we got going on.
They had Brian Terry's car back behind the wall, and they brought it back out, Rick, but it's still crabbing. It's still driving sideways. I don't know if he's going to be able to maintain any speed at all. It doesn't quite still look right.
Going to be the number 92 of Brian Terry. Brian Likens, now, have you found anything out about Brian Terry, what happened out there on the track?
Yeah, when he hit that, when he got in that wreck, it messed up the front end pretty bad. They've been working on it as much as they can, but right now they're just trying to get him out and get him some laps back. Tell him to take it really easy. They don't really care how many laps he goes down. They just want to get some points on the board and hopefully avoid a DNF.
Fantastic. Well, I tell you what, it's good to have you here tonight, Brian. Now, me and Wayne's missed out having you around for the last couple of races. I understand you've been working quite a bit, but really enjoy having you around, and we appreciate you joining us here in the booth tonight.
Well, I appreciate y'all having me, and I'll try to be around a little more often.
Absolutely. Hey, what, folks, just let you know out there, NoBullMotorsport.com. Get over there, get signed up. You want to join in on this action. I know that you guys are getting ready to open up their truck series and nationwide series. Once the season ends, we're going to have a series of 5 series opening up over there, and going to have lots of competition. We're kind of hoping for a full field of 25 to 30 cars in each series. So get on over there, get signed up, don't wait around.
Yeah, Rick, the 86 of William Roberts has gotten around Kevin Graham and taken over that 3rd place there, and Kevin's running right behind him.
I tell you what, I was just taking a look here at Randy Hedrick. He is just getting into the corners just perfectly, just riding that machine around here like a sewing machine. But the only thing I'm a little worried about is tire wear. How long are these guys probably going to be able to go before they're going to have a pit, Brian?
Well, I've been hearing a lot of numbers being tossed around, but they're saying anywhere between 30 to 35 laps they should be able to hold out comfortably. You'll see them start to wear down after about 15 to 17 laps, but they say that if you drive it right, you can hold it out for about 30.
Well, I'll tell you what, taking a look at that number 74 machine out there on the track, that's going to be Eric Riva. Tell you, that young man has had a good week so far this week. The other night, we were running late models at, I believe it was Langley Speedway. And that fellow there drove the wheels off the car, and Wayne got his first win in late models Sunday night.
Well, hey, that is absolutely great. You know, we talked at the beginning of the race in the lineup, David Washington qualified 18th. Rick, he's up into the 8th position here on lap 25, 1/4 through the race.
Going to be real interesting once David Washington gets on up there. Right now, trailing behind Mitch Lennon. Mitch Lennon doing a really good job. Chad Osborne was definitely a handful last week in Kentucky. Just fell a little short, secured that 5th place finish. But I tell you, Brad Spidell challenged him hard on the back stretch in turn 3 for 5th and 6th, but Chad was able to fight him off and secure that 5th place spot.
And the thing about Richmond is it's a 3/4 mile track, so they're lapping this track in just over 21 seconds, Rick. Ooh. And the race is going to go by fast. We got those 2 cautions out of the way. I think everybody found out the limits of the car, how hard they can drive it down in the corners, and seem to have a few laps here under green, which is good.
Absolutely. Good looking racing out there from all of these guys. I tell you, the respect level, just the driving, getting over if they're not fast enough, but they know when to run each other hard as well. Just awesome racing here at Richmond today.
David Washington in the 10 just went around number 5, Mitch Lennon, to take over 7th spot.
That's right. Mitch Lennon looks like he just fell back. I'm showing on my board here he fell back to 9th spot, Wayne, with Eric Riva taking over that 8th spot, trailing behind Washington.
Yeah, I think David opened the door and Eric followed him right through.
Tell you what, those 2 guys there, they get up there. Tell you, from what I'm seeing right now, the competition, you got some of the guys that are still just trying to make it in the top 10, but now we're getting to the point where those guys that you see normally each week finishing in the top 5th, 6th, 7th spot. But right now, I'm going to say right now in your top 10, including Brian Lambert running 11th, 12th place, Matt Hoos been running good. Brian Neff, of course, qualified, I believe, third, Wayne. This is anybody's race. You don't know who could still win it. Right now, Randy's looking good out there, but hey, anything can happen.
Yeah, you really got to take care of those tires and take care of your equipment. And, probably pretty soon, a lot of those guys did not come in on those first couple of yellows. Probably going to try to make this in two pit stops. So pretty soon we should be seeing some cars on pit road if we stay green.
Absolutely. Taking a look at the 3 running up front right now, running into a little bit of that lap traffic that you were talking about earlier. Slowed him down quite a bit, allowed Chad to catch up with him, but Chad now is having to get past through that lap traffic.
Yeah, you got to be very careful with lap cars. Sometimes they're not sure whether you want to go high or low, and they're pretty much going to run their line and let you pass them where you can do it best.
Absolutely. Chad Simpson, Kevin Graham working together back there on their way to try to catch Randy. Now, if Randy has burned those tires up, we'll find out here just within a few laps, because those guys are really going to gain on him quite a bit.
Yeah, they will, and he's been going in there awful deep in those turns, so he's going to use that right front up a lot quicker than the guys running a higher line.
Absolutely, and I believe, who's that in-car view we've got there, boss?
That's Ronald Henry in the 75, getting some oil and tire buildup and glare from the light, so they're probably going to have to pull a tear off him when they go for a pit stop.
That's right. I tell you, it's going to affect the drivers up there, especially Randy's been hitting clean air, so he may not have as much. Ed Hewitt, looks like Ed Hewitt scraping the wall pretty good out there. Brian, do we know anything on that? What's going on with him?
Well, his crew chief was busy, but I managed to get a few words out of him. He said, tires, tires, tires. Apparently his tires are gone.
Yeah, okay. they worked on that chassis. It looks like he's got some damage on the right front in practice. He might have done that in practice. He hit the wall several times in practice and was having a hard time getting a grip on this track, Rick. I think it's one of his first races here.
Absolutely. Looking right there, just staring the 30 going into the corners. Man, he's got that thing almost be at 90 degrees going into the in the corner there. Man, I tell you, those tires, they've got to look. I'll just.
Can you say understeer?
I don't see how he hadn't popped the tire yet.
Oh, well, that's a possibility with that right front as our leader goes by the 92 that had some damage earlier. But Randy Hendrick is out front. Last lap was a 21.445.
Wow. Tell you what, right now we're looking at lap 41, like you said, Wayne, out of 100 laps. So we're not too far away from being halfway.
We're on board now with Ed Hewitt, and these guys are having to put a lot of wheel into the car in these turns.
Oh, look at him. He's got the thing bent 90 degrees there. Looks like that caution flag is out. Brian, all right. Don't know where the caution's at. Oh, goodness. 6 car. Okay.
Looks like the 6, Rodney Kramer. Oh, he's got some heavy smoke. He apparently spun and hit the inside wall, Rick. Let's see if we can get on replay and see what happened.
Oh, man, I tell you, I'm just taking a look right now. The 6 car. Yeah, it looks like the 6 and the 06. Don't know what was going on with that 06, but hey, Rodney was just trying to stay out of his way, and man.
The 06 got loose, and looks like Rodney tried to go under him. Slick came down and hit him and caused him to spin.
Wow.
And there's the 06 as he's coming in the pits. Yeah, he got the 06 came down and got tagged by another car, and the worst of that deal was poor Rodney Kramer because he's got some heavy damage.
Tell you what, everybody's on pit road. Brian, this is the time for you to shine. What we got on pit road?
Well, everybody's come down to pit road to go ahead and take a full tank of Sunoco racing fuel and slap some more Goodyear rubber into those cars. I just spoke with the crew chief of the 06, and they said they're having some engine troubles. He slowed up severely in that turn, and he felt real bad about collecting the 6 in that wreck, but there wasn't a whole lot he could do about it. But the popular consensus on pit road is those who can hold it will, and those who can't will be in the wall.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, I'm going to see if we can get in touch with Randy Hedrick here, see if we can get an in-car interview with him here, guys. Let me see what we can do.
All right, looks like after, just 43 laps, everybody took 4 tires, Rick.
Fantastic.
And got Sunoco fuel, so everybody's going to be ready for one more big green flag run, we hope.
Randy Hedrick, this is Law Dog up in the booth. Kiv, you got a copy?
I copy.
Fantastic. Looking good out there, leading just about the whole race. Got good starts on the green. How's the car feeling?
Car's feeling pretty good, to tell you the truth. Crew chief did a good job.
Fantastic. Now, when you get ready to restart on this one, it looks like I'm showing that Chad Simpson, Kevin Graham, Brad Spadell is going to be right there, right behind you. How do you feel about that?
I feel I got some tough competition up here, and I got to do what I got to do out in the starts to try and keep this competition behind me.
Fantastic. Well, we wish you the best of luck, and hopefully we see you in victory lane.
10-4. Thanks.
Just a little trivia here. The Richmond Speedway opened for our listeners and viewers in 1968. The first Grand National race was actually held here in 1972. And who do you think won it? All right, Richard Petty won the first race. Bobby Allison sat on the pole. And let's go to Kevin now and see how his race is going. Kevin, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I kind of had a couple race and trying to get back in rhythm. I think I've got something for these guys if we can get at some green flag laps again. I just can't let them get real far away from me.
Saw you going into one time, scraped the wall. Didn't look like there was any damage.
Yeah.
Car was turning down earlier. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was something, but nothing too bad. So I think we'll be good to go.
All right, very good. Well, you're starting and restart here in third, so good luck. We'll see you later on in the race.
All right, thanks, man.
That was Kevin Graham. That's that 4 strong. He's going to be a contender.
Absolutely, and just relax behind the wheel. Kevin always keeps his composure there. No stress at all. I mean, he just does it like it is. It looks like they're coming around. It's going to be turn 4. Pace car off into the pit. We're getting ready to go green. Randy Hedrick gets a good start again, but Chad Simpson is right there on him, Wayne.
Yeah, Chad's right behind him, goes down on the inside, and Kevin Graham is running third, just about 1 car length off the bumper, so it's going to be very interesting these first 3 or 4 laps with those fresh tires, and going to the lead.
Oh, it looks like Chad Simpson there challenging him for the lead with Kevin Graham right behind him going into turn 1. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Kevin got a little bit loose there. Held the car. Randy may have scraped off the wall there a little bit, Wayne.
Yeah, it was looking like he got loose when they got the air off the nose going into the turn. He was behind the 42 and inside the 3. And the 3's coming back on the outside, holding that second spot right now.
I tell you what, the 3 and the 4 going at it side by side out of turn 2 on the backstretch. Looks like Kevin is going to get an edge. Good run there, and he's going to spot. Randy's going to fall right in behind him. Brad Spadell is falling right in behind Randy.
I was going to say, Brad's worked his way up to 4th place. So here we're just past halfway. We're halfway in the race, and 42's leading the way right now.
42's leading the way. But I tell you what, the number 10, David Washington's up to 6th place right now. But, Brian, you got some information for us down there on pit road?
I do have some information concerning the 06. They did decide to take behind the wall. Early word out of their pit is engine failure.
Wow. Definitely not a good thing. Got to bring a good engine to this track. Looks like Hedrick still challenging Graham there on the inside. and he's going to secure that second place spot. Wayne, I tell you what, Hedrick, Graham, and Spidell sitting back watching these guys just burn their tires up. Washington sneaking his way up there, but William Roberts is running consistent so far up in the top 5. Still, it's anybody's race.
It is just past halfway here, and you're right. The 42 saying, guys, run side by side, use up those tires while I get away.
That's right, Chad's up there with a smile on his face, just hoping those guys just keep battling it out. That will allow him a little extra time to get on up there and try to get a couple car lengths ahead of these guys.
And Brad Spidell keeps looking on the inside of Kevin, but just doesn't seem to have a drive off that Kevin has on that higher lane.
Washington still trying to work his way up from 6th spot, trying to get involved with that 5th place spot there. Good battle, just following right in behind him, but Eric Riva is right there with them, going into turn 1, coming out of turn 2, still looking good.
Yeah, they're racing all over the racetrack. Rodney Kramer, who's run so well every race so far, is back in 22nd position, Rick. And then James Ross is up in 16th. Jade Williams in 15th. Emerson is in 14th. James Gagne, who's always up front, is running in 13th position tonight.
I know that number 51 of Brian Lambert is Dylan Lambert over here jumping up and down and rooting for his dad. Is still looking pretty good out there, but just not able to get a whole lot done right now.
Well, Philip Willis is on the move after that restart. He was just in 9th. He passed the 24 for 8th, but he's on the way to the front.
He looks like he's looking pretty good out there. Got that car fixed pretty good. You know, these guys don't have to worry too much about the draft with this track. It does help maybe a little bit on those straightaways, but the power and the speed comes from the corners. If they can get in and get out of those corners, I tell you, they're going to have a good day.
You use a lot of brake here. They got to be careful not to heat those brakes up too much, because that brake will start fading, and down the last 15 or 20 laps, you want to have good brakes.
Absolutely. Chad Simpson being challenged by Randy Hedrick right on his back bumper. He's caught up there with him. Hedrick just a little bit sideways coming out of turn 3 as it going to turn 4. Man, I tell you, you couldn't squeeze a Volkswagen between them two.
Got a good race back between William Roberts in 5th and David Washington in 6th. David keeps closing up on entry, and then William pulls him on exit.
I just heard, I believe that's going to be Chad or Randy, just scraped the wall there a little bit. Looks like Kevin Graham has fell back to about 1.2 seconds right behind Randy. He may have burned his tires up a little bit trying to stay up there with those guys. Washington still running in 6th spot, is not able to get past William Roberts. William Roberts hanging on to that 5th spot real close.
Yeah, Randy and Chad are about 1.2 second out from 3rd and 4th, but Brad's staying right there with Kevin and giving him a mirrorful.
Washington looking on the inside of William Roberts as they go into turn 1. Can he take it away and secure that 5th place spot? And he does.
Yeah, and the three car just scraped the wall up there. Randy did, but he's still right there behind the 42 and not letting him get away.
Tell you what, good action we've got here today. Kevin Graham 1.3 seconds behind Randy Hedrick. Randy looks like he's fell back a little bit from Chad, but you know, maybe these guys are kind of pacing themselves right now, Wayne, just wanting to hold off at least to the last 10 laps before they start really burning them tires.
Yeah, they're should have to make one more pit stop for probably around 70 to 75 if they stay green. So they'll get one more set of tires and another tank of gas. Now, remember the tire strategy we've had in past weeks. With only 25 or so laps to go, somebody may opt to take 2 in Sunoco racing fuel.
Absolutely. And Brian, I tell you, that brings up another conversation. When we see these lap come up somewhere between, like Wayne said, 72, 73, what are we going to expect to see? Are they going to see outsides, or are we going to see all 4?
Well, to be quite honest with you, Law Dog, I'm not hearing a whole lot of conversation about two tires yet because I'm standing in between the pit stalls of the 3 and the 42, and it sounds like a stereo chatter of them telling their drivers to stop using up the tires. Just run your race, run your line, and quit coming off on those corners so hot because it's eating up the tires. They want them to be safe, but I'll let you know as soon as I hear something about strategy.
Fantastic. I tell you, Wayne, it's like you said, these guys do need to probably back down just a little bit, save a little bit of tire wear, because again, they got Kevin Grant, Brad Spidell, Washington just moved up to 5th. William Roberts is not out of this. Eric Riva, Chad Osborne, I tell you, the list keeps going, and you know, I catch myself saying these names for some of those big drivers that could possibly win this race, but again, I'm going to have to say, it's anybody's race.
Yeah, it is, and Randy staying right there with Chad, and they're running pretty hard. That last lap was a 21:148. That's a couple of tenths quicker than they ran in that first session.
Right. I tell you, you're going to probably see these guys keep getting faster and faster each time. Looking back here at, it's like Washington, the 74 of Riva. Man, I tell you, William Roberts still looking really good back there. I really think that he's just kind of holding out and seeing what's going to happen. We're going to see a lot of drivers start cranking this thing up, probably somewhere around lap 90, I'm going to say.
Yeah, with 10 to go, they're probably going to no holds barred and don't worry about the tires and gas with 10 to go.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, I want to go over here at NoBull TV. Say hey to Brian, Brian Lincoln's, I see you in there. Dylan Lambert, we appreciate you guys showing up. Where's your guest? You and Troy was supposed to bring an extra guest here today. I gave you a challenge and I hadn't seen an extra guest. But definitely want to say hey to Tim Woolever. And of course, Eddie, thank you for joining in. Now guys, throw something at you. Before too long, we're going to start seeing NoBull Radio. We're going to start having some hosted sessions here live over the web page. That way, these fans can get involved and start asking their favorite drivers questions over the radio.
Yeah, Rick, that'll be really, really exciting. So maybe starting some pit cycles now. We've got a car in the pits. Yeah, the 30 of Ed Hewitt's in the pits. He just got lapped about 2 laps ago by the leaders, and they're back in traffic now coming up on the 92. So he's going to sort of pit early, get some tires and gas, and maybe try to save losing another lap here. Let's go down to the pits. Brian, what's going on with the 30?
Well, originally the 30 was just coming in for, some adjustments, some tires, a little more fuel, but they just decided out of the blue, just put it behind the wall. No rhyme or reason, no real word why. Let me see if I can get some more out of them, but with the way they're rushing, doesn't look like I'm going to get a whole lot out of them.
Yellow flag. Looks like 2 spun, Rick. Let's see if we can get a camera on him.
Oh, goodness. Who is the 2? I know the 2. Where's the 2? That 2 is going to be Matt Hoffman. Oh, man. Matt Hoffman's been running the race here today. Oh, it looks like Brian Lambert got into him.
Oh, Rick, that was a hard hit outside wall, too.
Yes,
He's
sir,
got
it
damage
was.
in the front and the back. Looks like the front sway bar's broken. The truck arm's broken. He's hurt.
Man, I tell you what, car's really messed up there, and that may be his race today. Thing looks like it's turning sideways, going the road at the same time.
Well, remember what we talked a few laps ago about pit strategy, taking 2, taking 4? Brian, what do you think now?
Well, I honestly think that the pit crews between the 3 and the 42 are reading each other's playbooks because they're both talking about taking 2 tires now. Can't really figure out who's going to pull the fast one here, but it looks like both of them are discussing the 2 tire options. I spoke with the crew chief of the 2, that whoop-ass racing Chevrolet, and seems like the sponsor kind of opened up its own can on him. The whole front end of that car is just is just junked. The right rear quarter panel, the right rear deck lid, the right rear bumper, everything's pushed in on that car. They're going to get him in the pits, try to get him fixed up, and fix the steering on that, see if they can't get him back out with as few laps lost as possible.
Well, while have binoculars on pit road down there, the 42 and the 3, because that yellow came out, both took 4 tires filled up with Sunoco fuel. Here in the PowerTech Solutions Richmond 100, we're on lap 78, and boy, it's going to be a great shootout to the finish.
Absolutely, a great shootout we're going to see, Wayne. I'm going to guess all 4 tires from these top competitors. And when I say top competitors, I'm going to say at least your top 10. Anybody can win the race here today. It's going to be a knockdown drag out, and real interesting to see how this thing's going to play out.
It's also going to be interesting to see how they line up after everybody cycles through the pit stops, because a couple of the guys may have short pitted and got in there a lap or so ago. So we may have a new leader just depending on how the pit strategy worked out.
May very sure. And if I tell you, 30 car field we had here today, and this thing just keeps growing, Wayne. Lots of competition. Tell you, excellent race. We've had a few cautions here today, but I tell you, 30 cars out on this track, man, we've done great here today.
And our buddy Rodney Kramer got the PowerTech lucky dog, and he got the wave around to make one of his laps up.
Fantastic. Looks like Randy Hendricks is going to be up front up there. Chad Simpson out on his right. Let's see if we can grab a hold of Chad and see if we can get him in the booth. I'd love to see what he thinks, how things are going to happen. Let's see if we can get a hold of him. Chad Simpson, this is Law Dog up in the booth. Have you got a copy?
I got you, Rick.
Fantastic. Looking good out there. Kevin Graham, Randy Hedrick. You got Washington moving up there. Man, you got lots of competition. Good to see you back. How you feel?
I feel great to be back and back up at the front. I know last we said I was able to catch Randy slip up off exit and grab the lead, so it's like I'm going to have to try that again.
Fantastic. Now, do you think you got what it's going to take to get this thing in victory lane?
I think so. 19 laps to go. We'll see what happens right here.
Fantastic. Good luck. All righty, pace car off the track, Wayne. Green flag getting ready to drop, and green, we've got Randy Hedrick jumps out front again.
He brake checked Kevin and just nailed the throttle and pulled away by about 5 car lengths.
Man, I tell you what, lap 82 there, you got Kevin Graham, Chad Simpson battling it out side by side, but look who is moving on up right there in 4th spot. They've got company. That's Washington.
Yeah, Dave saved that car, and it's got fresh tires, so this is going to be a great finish here to the end at Richmond.
I tell you what, just don't have any clue who's going to end up taking the victory lap once this one goes down. Spidell looking under Washington, coming out of 4 there, but not able to do anything with it. Matter of fact, he may have lost a little bit of traction there. It looks like he had to let off the gas. Thought maybe Washington may be coming down.
Well, those guys running 2nd and 3rd better. Oh, yellow flag again. This looks like the 7 car spun in the back. I don't know if it was a multi-car accident or not, but the 7 car of Rick Moore has spun and back underway, and the 75 may have been involved, or he still had some earlier damage.
Yep, looks like the 7 and the 75. 75 just looked like he just spun out down there. Don't know what happened with that. I believe that's going to be Ronald Henry.
Well, he had earlier damage and was crabbing around the racetrack. It was kind of curious how that car was even handling it. It looked so bad.
Oh, I tell you what, coming a little bit closer there, it looks like the 62 gave him a little bit of help. That's going to be Michael Nico that helped him out there to get that car spun around there, Wayne.
Well, it's Russian roulette. Everybody's going to get involved.
Well, I tell you what, thank God for replays, right?
That is right. And there's so much action going on the track, it's hard to pick it all up.
Oh, it looks like he got a little bit too hard in the gas there going in turn one and tried to go under him. But, you didn't have room there, buddy.
Yeah, Michael ran out of brakes, it looks like.
Well, it's like you said earlier, these guys need to watch their brake because as the race goes on, a lot of brake is going into these cars in these corners. And could have very well, Brian, could have been very well that his brakes could have been heated up, just wasn't working.
Well, looking by the amount of brake dust they just pulled off a couple of the tires on that car, I have a feeling his brakes were hot. Don't hear anything, don't hear any chatter talking about overheating of the brakes, but they're working on both the 75 and the other car that came in behind him. They're working on both those cars, but the 75 that has severe rear end damage, I can actually see the spillover line from the fuel tank in between the rear spoiler and the actual rear bumper. So they got a lot of work to do, and hopefully they can get him back out with as few laps lost as possible.
Yeah, Rick Moore's car had heavy damage from that race, and then the also 44 Marcus Miller came to pit road too.
Tell you what, I'm going to see if you can. David Washington, this is Law Dog up in the booth. Have you got a copy?
10-4.
Fantastic, buddy. You qualified 18th. You're right now in 4th place with fresh tires. How's the car feel?
It's a little on the right side for me on entry, and I feel like I'm not overdriving the car, but it just feels tight.
And do you think you got some for these guys up front?
No, there's 3 up in front of me. They're fast. I'm just going to hang here in 4th and try to bring it home.
Fantastic. Well, I tell you what, luck to you there, and hopefully we may see you in victory lane.
Yes, sir, I hope.
Fantastic, and I know that you got your spotter back this week, so I know that helps out a whole lot as well.
Oh, yes. It definitely helped me out for this track here. I didn't really think I was going to run that good, but I just found the line and just hanging in there.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to let you get to the race. Awesome racing here today with a full field of 30 cars. It's just been awesome from start to finish so far.
Yep, definitely.
All right, good luck to you.
Hey Rick, James Austin, the 14, was our Power Tech lucky dog that time, and he was waved around the pace car. We're going to be going back green here in just a minute.
Fantastic. And I tell you what, now this is going to be the time, like we talked about before, that when they get the green flag, we're going to be on lap 90, Wayne. Kevin Graham on the outside of Randy Hedrick, Chad Simpson, Washington Spidell, William Roberts, Eric Riva, Chad Osborne, lots of guys up there, anybody's race.
Pace cars off. Here we go.
Green flag is up. Randy out front. Chad and Kevin Graham battling it out. Going into turn 1, Washington giving a love tap to Chad Simpson going into turn 1 there.
Randy was in a full 4-wheel drift through that first turn, and he yellows out again.
Washington out of the race. Man. Big spin up front with the competitors.
Brad Spidell's involved. The Dave Washington, the 92, I mean, this was the big one.
This was the big one right here, 90 laps into it. Let's look at the replay, guys. Washington going down into turn 1, gives a little bit of tap to Chad there. As he's coming out, it looks like Kevin Graham runs his line, gets into the 4, bounces off, and the wreck, as you see.
Wow. That's going to be big in points.
That is going to be major in points. And I definitely know that there's one driver that's not real happy right now.
Marcus Miller with damage. Brian Neff with damage. Chris Chagotis had gone back in the pits just before the restart. I don't think he had an additional damage. The 7 car is back out, but man, that 76 Spidell is coming into pits. Heavy smoke, Rick.
Wayne, you got to take a look at the NoBull TV. Look at that slow-mo action going on there. Man, I tell you what, our producer just keeps getting better and better every time I see this thing. Guys, do you see the slow-mo action going there?
The car came off the ground. And look at the tires exploding when there's, I mean, this camera work is absolutely amazing.
Absolutely. Big hats off to Laura Lawson at LSR TV with those camera work that she does. Just, I tell you, it just don't get much better than that, Wayne. As a matter of fact, it don't get any better than that.
It doesn't. That's fantastic slow-mo work there. And, I mean, even after the wreck, somebody else comes in there and pile drives in there, so maybe he wanted to get a little action too.
Wow. Yeah, tough break for Washington there. Brian, you definitely got to get us a follow-up with what's going on down there in the pits with Washington when you get a chance.
We're on board with Brian Terry. Let's watch it from his windshield as he comes up into the wreck. And, wow, squeaked through on the outside next to the wall. That was close.
Wow. Awesome cameras, man, I tell you. Gosh.
And then he hits Dave after he got through the rest of it.
A lot of tore-up cars on that one.
You know that old saying, some days you feel like a nut and some days you don't? Ooh. This is one of those days. Well, that changed the complexion of the race and the points. Now, let's go down to Brian in the pits and get some comments from the guys.
Well, I'm standing here behind the pit box on the number 10 car, and I've had to dodge more than my fair share of debris flying out of the top of that. They've actually sacrificed one of the laptops. Needless to say, the crew chief hasn't given me a whole lot of words I can repeat on TV, so we'll just say that they're unhappy. And right now they're just working to get the 10 back out on the track. Very unfortunate incident there. He just kind of lost it, went up into the 4, and just went for the ride from that point. Got T-boned pretty hard in the door. The driver looks to be okay. In Washington, he was answering everything. I think there was more smoke coming out of the cockpit than there was out of the back of the car. But they're just going to try to get it back out on the track, salvage what they can from this race.
Got several cars still on pit road, the 92. There's a bunch of guys, the 76. But
Sure.
The lucky one in this was Kevin Graham, because he was so close to getting tagged. He got a little bit of damage on the left rear, but it could have been bad for the 4 car as well.
I tell you what, while you're talking there, Wayne, I'm going to see if I can find Steve Conway. That is the crew chief for Dave Washington, and see if Brian may be able to interview him.
All right, I'm here with Stephen Conway, the crew chief for the number 10 of David Washington. Steve, I saw a few things flying out of the pit box there. It didn't look like you were too happy. Can you tell me what you saw, what you thought happened there?
Just trying to keep my driver calm. Getting down near the end of it there, just drove it in a little too hard. A little bit of a push. It's an unfortunate deal because it looked like we're coming out here with a solid top 5.
All right, well, we're going to go back broadcast, but we may get back to you here shortly, so try to stick around a little bit for us, will you?
10-4.
Yellow flag is out again.
Oh, man, I tell you what, that's going to end it right there, Wayne. Yellow flag is out on lap 97, and I think this thing's going to finish under caution. Let's see what brought out the caution.
Looks like the 7 was involved again. It got heavy smoke.
I'm not seeing anything.
All right, the 60 was involved. The 60 was involved in the wreck, Rick.
That's going to be Brian Neff.
He came down into the 2 and then hit the 86. So there was 3 or 4 cars involved in that incident there. But the 60 clearly started at Brian Neff.
Wow. I'll tell you what, go lap 96 going into turn 1, the 60 car. Yep, looks like he came down a little bit, just didn't have enough room for that car on the bottom. And I believe that car looks like it's going to be Matt Hoffman. Just drove her right down on top of Matt Hoffman. And of course, Matt Hoffman didn't have anywhere to go, and it looks like the 86 got into the back of him. That's going to be William Roberts. Man, tough luck for William Roberts. Had a good race here today.
Yep, and at this point of the race, like you say, it's going to end under caution, it looks like, and can't make up any positions under yellow.
Yep, we can't. So, guess it's Randy Hedrick's going to end up taking this unofficial results here. Let me make sure I spit that out. Randy Hedrick, like he's going to end up with the checkered flag here in just a few moments, with Chad Simpson finishing second, third belonging to the number 4 of Kevin Graham, Eric Riva finishing fourth, and round out the top 5 with Chad Osborne.
And Dave Washington looked like he's going to finish 20th or worse after that wreck. Yeah, Brian Neff there just lost it, came down and spun, and then that was called a multi-car wreck. That's going to end our race today. The PowerTech 100 from Richmond International Speedway.
Wow. Tell you what, awesome race we saw here today, Wayne. It don't get any better than this. Lots of competition out on the track. And I tell you, look at the number 6 spot belonging to Philip Willis. Early troubles for him. Got that car back in the pit and still pulling out a top 6 finish here today. That's not a bad job from our previous champion from last season, Philip Willis.
That's right. The cars are in D4. The only person glad to see this yellow and checkered flag is Randy Hedrick in that 3 car. Everybody behind him wanted this finish under green.
Yeah, I tell you, man, I would have definitely liked to see this thing finish under green today to see what would have happened. But I tell you, Wayne, Hedrick has been strong all day here at the track, and I'm just not quite sure if these guys may have had enough to get by him, but it definitely would have been close.
Yeah, after 100 laps, only ended up with, looks like 13 cars on the lead lap, and Brian Neff in the 60 was the last car. And once again, our winner was Randy Hedrick. Second, Chad Simpson. Kevin Graham was in 4th. Eric De La Riva was 4th, and Chad Osborne was 5th, Rick.
Absolutely, and I tell you what, I definitely want to say hey to our fans out there. Thank you for joining in. Keep your eyes open at the iRacing forums. You're going to see one of our first NoBull radio shows come up. This is for you guys out there, the fans, to get involved, to be able to ask your favorite drivers questions. So keep your eye out for that. Fry's fan, Oliver, Troy, thanks for joining us, guys. Here in just a moment, we're going to be with our top 3 finishers, and I know Wayne's working himself down toward victory lane to get in touch with Randy.
I tell you what, it was a fantastic race, and I'm down here in victory lane now, and we're going to get word with the winner of today's race. Randy, how are you, sir?
Doing pretty good.
That was a great race. We had 3 lead changes. You led most of the race. 8 cautions and 32 laps under yellow. So we had an exciting day. Did everything work out the way you expected it?
Yeah, actually, I was hoping to win this race and capitalized in practice and capitalized in qualifying. This was just another notch. But I don't think I could have won that without that caution. I think that caution saved me. I kind of spun my tires coming off the corner, and Chad, runner-up, kind of gave me a run.
Well, you are the winner of the PowerTech Solutions 100 here at Richmond, and you reminded me a lot of Kyle Busch on those restarts. You started a different place, brake checked them one time, and they never knew what you were going to do on the restarts.
Well, I don't know about brake checking. My foot never touched my brake, and I never let out of the gas. But I did change up my starting points. I didn't want to have that run that first corner taken away from me just because I messed up.
Well, I guess on the sideline they must have come up behind you, and they must have had to put on brakes. But it worked. You did an outstanding job, and congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
It was very nice to see that 3 Goodwrench car back in victory circle.
Oh, yeah, by far.
Appreciate it, and we'll see you next week. Thanks again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Looks
All right.
like
Rick, who we got in the booth now?
Absolutely. It looks like we called our second place guy, Brian Lincolns, is caught up with Chad Simpson. And Chad, I'm going to pass the mic down to you, and I'm going to see if I can't catch up with Kevin Graham.
Hey, Chad, this is Brian Lockett up in the booth. Had a good run today. Seems like you might not have been able to hold off the three there at the end. What happened?
Well, he beat me off pit road, and once all those yellows started happening, there was just no way to get back in front of him.
Yeah, he seemed to be very thankful about those yellows. We're towards the end. Did you contemplate taking 2 tires on that last caution?
Oh, no. That car's way too loose on 2 tires. It would have been a death sentence, and I'd be back there probably 5 laps down after wrecking, so no.
Well, you had a heck of a run. You had some pretty good competition back there. You slid back a couple of slots and made the move back up. Did you just run harder, or did you just stay on your previous strategy of keeping your line and just let the equipment do the rest?
You just gotta run easy. You gotta save your stuff. Let everybody else burn up their equipment. As long as you don't wreck here, you got a good chance of finishing up front. So that was my goal.
Yeah, I know you're disappointed by not getting the win, but you're still in the top 5. It was a heck of a race today, and thanks for talking with us.
Thank you, sir.
User was moved out of your channel.
Yeah, Brian, overall we have a great race, and as many wrecks as we had and as many cautions to end up with 13 cars on the lead lap. And I'll continue that rundown. 6th was Philip Willis. 7th, James Gagne. Rodney Kramer ended up 8th. Michael D'Amico was 9th. James Ross 10th, Marcus Miller 11th, Emerson was 12th, and Brian Neff was the last car on the lead lap in 13. And let's go to Rick now with Brian Neff.
Oh, absolutely. I am here with Kevin Graham that came in and finished 3rd. Kevin, you had a great race out there. It looks like you were getting ready to try to close in on Randy. Take us back through a few of those laps.
Yeah, Randy and Chad, they just were real good on the first couple laps, and seems like I'd get somebody under me and I'd just run the tires off of it, and I'd start catching up a little bit on the longer runs, but just didn't have anything. I really wish it would have gone green there at the end, because we were going to put on a show.
Absolutely, and I tell you what, it was a show that we did see here. Lots of fans coming in, watching this race. Awesome race here at Richmond International Raceway. But I tell you, the talk has been that you've been missing in action for the last couple of weeks. May have been some talks about some sponsorships and so forth. Hadn't been able to get together on some money, and finally it looks like you've got that Break It Down design car back here at Richmond. Is there any new news for sponsorships? We expect to see you back week to week from here out.
Oh yeah, it should be. Break It Down Designs is on board, and they're helping me out a bunch. And since we missed those 2 races, basically we're out here just to win races. Owners saying just bring back the wheel. That's all they want. So we're going for it.
Well, fantastic. Well, you ran a great race. It's good to see you back out there on the track. I know a lot of guys miss you being here. The fan base over here pulling for you as well, and it's always good to see you. Good race for you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back. Thanks to you guys. Thanks to NoBull.
Absolutely. We'll see you next week.
Sounds good.
User was moved out of your channel.
Well, I'm going to throw it back up there to Wayne.
Yeah, Rick and Brian, thank you guys very much. This was an exciting race. Brian did a great job on pit road. Laura did a great job with her camera and all the camera angles and producing. And once again, today's Richmond 100 was brought to you by PowerTech Solutions. Vital circuits or full house service for commercial, marine, residential, mobile, and alternative energy solutions. Their phone number, they also serve Westchester, New York, and Putnam counties, and in Connecticut, Fairfield County. And once again, that phone number is 914-447-5637. You can reach them via email at powertechsolutions@yahoo.com. This is Wayne Finley for Brian on pit road, Rick Lawdog up in the booth with me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next race on NoBull Motorsports.
Absolutely. Got a few more things just